Hello again, everyone. Todd Staruch, the Horror Nerd, here at New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival at the Showboat Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And I have the distinct honor of sitting here with one of the stars of one of the most iconic horror films of all time, Halloween, Miss PJ Soles. PJ, how are you?
I'm awesome, thank you. Nice to be in Atlantic City.
Yes, it is. It's kind of cool, right?
Last night I walked along the boardwalk. I got sand in my face and my eyes, but it was worth it to see the ocean. It was wild out there.
Yeah, it was blustery yesterday, huh?
Wild. It was crazy.
Is this your first visit to Atlantic City?
You know what? I was here when I lived about a year and a half in Oakland, New Jersey, and I was 13, and at the time they had what looked like phone booths, but they were actually recording booths, and you can make a 45. And me and my friend Pat Kelly, my mother brought us, and we made a record singing Soldier Boy. I don't know where the record is now, but it was so exciting. So that's my best memory of Atlantic City.
That is a great story. Thanks for sharing that with me.
I wish they still had those. That was so cool.
I mean, they have them now, but it's all digital. Like you can record, but it's all digital. But 45s, wow.
So exciting,
Wow, that is very cool.
Atlantic City, and I got some saltwater taffy, I think.
Yeah, you got to have that. Are you much of a gambler at all? Do you like the casinos?
No, not at all. Too noisy for me. And, the most I would spend is $20 on roulette, and then I'm done if I don't win.
Fair enough. Fair enough. They love someone who wants to sit there and keep losing. So you have the right idea.
Exactly.
So PJ, obviously Halloween is, among us horror fans, is one of, if not the most iconic film of all time. How does it make you? Here we go. Right. How does it make you feel to be part of such an iconic film and such an iconic franchise?
It's awesome. I mean, I'm thrilled. It's exciting. I've been in a lot of films that have stood the test of time. This year it's the 40th anniversary of Rock and Roll High School with the Ramones. Last year was the 40th of Halloween. It's mind-blowing. I mean, it's just exciting, and the fans love it, and I'm so impressed that all the generations have handed down this movie, and it still remains, with all the new movies that are filled with blood and gore in the horror world, that Halloween without blood and gore remains, the number one choice of everybody. So very exciting.
Absolutely. And as a horror fan myself, I have a 14-year-old daughter, and now she's starting to get into all these movies that I grew up with, and she's getting sort of caught up.
It's awesome. It's because of you guys. You keep, showing your kids, and there's a whole new generation that embraces our movies and the music too, from the 70s, 80s. It's really special.
So let's talk about Rock and Roll High School for a minute. How much fun was it to make that movie? How cool was that? Woman of many faces.
That's right. Very cool. I mean, the Ramones, at the time, I was listening to Jackson Browne, the Eagles, Joni Mitchell. Not my kind of music. When I put on the cassette and started listening to it, I'm like, I have to be their number one fan. Oh my gosh, this is going to require acting. But so I really didn't get into their music until much later, and at the time it was cutting edge. It was brand new. Alan Arkish, the director, knew about them because he was from New York. I had lived in New York, but I left in '75 to come to LA, so I wasn't really aware of them. But for me, it was my last teenage role. I bought all the wardrobe. I created the character of Riff. I put my heart and soul into it. I wanted to be as energetic in my character as the Ramones were with their music. And so it was just a labor of love. And every day I woke up, I couldn't wait to get to the set. It was just so exciting.
Do you have a favorite anecdote or story from the movie that you could share with us?
Everybody wants some dish and dirt on the Ramones. There was none because we were working all the time. If anything, the only thing I can say is that by the third day we realized they were not going to stick to the script. They were not going to memorize their lines, so we had to pull out a lot of pages that we had with actual scenes because they weren't about, going home and studying their lines. but what ended up on screen was enough and endearing. And when we got to the actual concert scenes, Day Young and Day, who played Kate Rambeau, and we saw them perform, we both looked at each other like, whoa, now we see who they are, so we were pretty impressed with that. So
That's fantastic. Last question, PJ. Of all the many roles that you've been in, do you have a personal favorite?
Well, yes, Rock and Roll High School, of course, for the same reasons that I stated, my last teenage role. But all my films, Stripes with Bill Murray, I loved that. It was fun working with Bill. I had to be on my toes. And definitely Halloween because of, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill allowing us to be, creative and add whatever ad-lib lines we wanted. And, Devil's Rejects even with the late Sid Haig. It was wonderful working with Rob Zombie, although at lunch he came to me and I was eating my salad and he just dumped posters and photos on the table and he goes, "Oh yeah, when you're finished lunch, could you sign these to me?" And I thought, is that why I got the part? Okay, thank you.
Hey, listen, if nothing, Rob Zombie's a fan, if nothing else. It's, so he definitely is. So, what are you, PJ, I don't know what I was going to say next. Well, no, I just wanted to say, tell what you're up to now. You working on anything new, or what are you doing these days?
You might have heard I have a new film out called Candy Corn. I have a cameo in it, but Josh Hasty, wonderful writer, director, he also did the music, starring Courtney Gaines, who's the sheriff. I play his dispatcher at the sheriff's station. Has a 80s vibe to it, definitely set in the 80s. Pancho Moeller is in it, and Tony Todd. And it's already made the rounds, and people are loving it and saying it's very special and they compare it to Halloween, although this does have some pretty grisly special effects.
Nice.
Yeah, which nowadays the fans really do like. But I'm very proud of that. I have another movie coming out called Killer Therapy. I play a therapist who's trying to help a boy who did something very bad at the age of 9, and he's in my care until he's 18, and I certify him as able to go back into society. But I was wrong. So it's Killer Therapy. And I'm in a movie called Hanukkah, small part, but I'm kind of the comic relief of this movie. And that also was with Sid Haig. So those are all still, like I said, Candy Corn is out on VOD and on it's Blu-ray, Amazon, you can get it, but it's making the festival rounds. So lots of, so happens that last year all these up and coming younger people, younger generation are now writer-directors, ask me to be in their movies. If it works out and I like the script and I have the time, I like to do it. So
that's fantastic. Busy is good.
And I got 3 grandchildren, so.
Wow, that's great. Good for you. Now we're done. PJ, thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time. I truly appreciate it.
Come on down.
PJ Souls, everybody, here at New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And we will see all of you in the next interview.